Of course it's Marco. Nobody can ever accuse you of not being dependable, Marco. If they do, you tell them to fucking call me. I don't know if we're actually going to do any heat treating tonight, but actually I know we're not, because I don't have any dry ice here. But we're going to do my least favorite part of heat treating, and that is getting our fall wrap ready. Might do a couple other things tonight, I don't know. Things just seem to, I'm not complaining, but things just seem to keep looking up more and more. So I've got to, I got to get on top of it, man. Marco, nobody else is live, are they? I'm not stepping on anybody's feet, am I? I'm hoping not. Weird, Saturday night used to be a big night for lives. Now until Big Red comes on, it seems like Saturday nights are kind of slow. I'm good and rested. Didn't have a whole lot to do at the house, but I had plenty to do here, so I thought, get my ass to work. Let me get this other door open. Just me and you, Marco? Oh, I got about 20 in here. So what we're doing, guys, we got to cut out our full packets to heat treat these. Of course, Kyle would call while I'm live, but I did call him earlier. I don't know if y'all can even see what I'm doing really. Got to make full couches. That's what we're doing right this minute. These cut out, get these, there it is. My bad. You good, Kyle. This is kind of impromptu, but that's clean. Wondering how good a pair of scissors does it take to cut stainless steel foil? Pretty damn good scissors. That's what you gotta have. Because if it ever crinkles it, it's done cutting. That stuff's literally just like sheet of razor blade, man. You know what I'm talking about? That's not aluminum foil, that's stainless steel foil. Gotta be careful working with this stuff, or it will get you. Even when it gets you though, it's not horrible. It just kind of nick you. At least that's been my experience so far. In case y'all are wondering, yes, I did put 2 knives in there. I learned that Mr. Brian Kim, Transparent Knives, that on your small blades, that's perfectly acceptable. Hope everybody got to see that today. I'm really proud of this one. It's my big K-tip chef's knife. Something I did a little bit different on this one is this actually has 3 liners. It's white, red, white, and then the shredded carbon fiber handles. That one is spoken for. That one's actually already paid for. But got a few more I'm getting handles put on. And then I've got a whole nother bar of steel over there to make 4 more. If you want one, that's still a possibility. Slide into my DMs and claim you one. The last one sold out pretty fast. Go. All I do is fold the openings and crimp them twice. That creates a little nice airtight barrier. So no air gets in there, so you don't have any oxidization. Now I like to take my Sharpie, put what steel it is, just in case I have some major lapse in memory. I'll know that those are MagnaCut blades. If you're wondering what 10 feet of this costs, it's $100. A 10-foot roll. And I promise you, it disappears way faster than you think it will. why you want to cut these packets as precise as you can. Definitely don't want to waste none of that stuff. The worst part is, once you use it, it's garbage. Can't reuse it. It bites a little bit having to throw away $100 worth of cloth every time you heat treat. To be honest, I don't know if that 10-foot roll is going to do everything I've got to do. I'm hoping it will. I'm going to be very conservative with my packet making. Make sure I don't waste any. I used to have a good bit of waste back when I was cutting it out with a knife, which was destroying the knife, or at least destroying the edge. And it was not accurate at all. Ended up messing a lot of it up. I'll move the camera here in a second. Point it down at this table where y'all can actually see what I'm doing. This is why I quit making videos. I am not a content creator by any means. I have no videography skills, editing skills. None of that crap. There's another pouch of Magnatite. We're ready to go. It's going to seem a little odd because one of these going in this pouch is Magnatite and the other one's Truewear. But it doesn't matter because they oftentimes at the same temperature. But I'll still mark it. Show you all this, man. I got this 14C right here. Y'all even see that? That's .040 stock. I'm going to try to make a couple of paring knives out of this. It's probably going to warp like shit. I'm probably going to fail. But it's kind of a challenge. So I'm going to try it. Maybe we'll cut those out tonight. I don't even really have a design in mind. It's going to be a little kitchen counter knife. You know, fitted tighter. Whatever you do with a paring knife. Anything you don't need a I'm making y'all drunk, hey, I'm sorry. Spinning this camera all over the place. If y'all can see that or not. Surprised nobody's here. Nice as the weather is, I figured people would be hanging out here at the shop tonight. But it's just me. I'll explain what that white jar is here in just a second. Did I cut that too damn short? It almost looks like I did. We'll find out. Yeah, maybe not. No, that'll work. So what we have in this jar right here is 100% pure talc. The reason I'm using talc, I've had some issues with this foil wanting to stick to the cruware a little bit. So the plan is, or the hope is, and what a lot of people do is, they just put a little talc on the blade. It doesn't affect the heat treat, but it can prevent the foil from sticking to the steel. Never had it happen on Magna Cut, but I've had it happen on cruware. got a couple of frets over there I can cut out and shape tonight as well. Need to get that done. This first order is already all claimed. Now we're just doing thugs. Got this batch of thugs I got to get ready for northern knives. Maybe tomorrow or Monday I'll go get some dry ice and get that process started. Get to doing some heat treats. I wonder if I can just, let me try this. I'm going to try just sticking the knife in the talc. Oh yeah, that works beautifully actually. No waste, a lot less mess. In case you're curious about this 2 knives in 1 packet, every thug that Brian Kim heat treated 2 packets. If you want to argue heat treat, argue with him. 'Cause everything I know I've learned from him, Alex Steingraber, and Steve Culinary. I mean, who else would you want to learn from? Kyle, I don't remember why I called you, bud. I'm sure I'll remember eventually. Probably some super secret squirrel shit if I had to guess. I did get my suppressor mounted today. So that's cool. I didn't have time to go test it out, but it's on. That was going to be weird with heat treating that Pro Cut. That heat treats about 400 degrees lower than what I'm used to. Those stuff I heat treat is either 1850, 1950. Pro Cut heat treats at 1550. See there? She got me. screw wear. Now, I guess I've never tried doing this wearing gloves. I guess I could give it a shot. It seems like it's going to be a little awkward. Typically when that stuff cuts you, it's not much worse than a paper cut. Well, I guess it is, because it bleeds a good bit more than a paper cut would. In case you're wondering why I'm laying so many on here to begin with, when I cut out my foil, I cut it the length at 5 blades. I actually go a little past that, but that way I know I've got room on these that I double up. That way I know I've got room to make my folds. Because that was another way I used to waste a lot of foil. Was a huge mistake when you don't cut it big enough. Then you just kind of catch it to the side. Hope you find something to do with that piece at a later date. $10 a foot, you don't want to waste it. Tell already I don't have as good control over it, but these gloves on. We're gonna roll with it for a minute anyway. See if I can make it work. Just so Kyle don't give me too hard a time about not being safe. Last thing I need him doing is calling Patina. What are you guys doing? I had a feeling you'd made a smart-ass comment, Kyle. I could just feel it in my bones. I've got crimpers, Kyle, but everybody else I've ever seen do this just does it with a hammer. So I don't know. We'll crimp this set, just see if it's. Seems like it takes a little longer. Well, it may be a little cleaner though. May be a better way. I've always used them in the past. I just I quit because Meathead had to have them. I didn't know what he did with them, so they weren't available. The thing about this, you have to make sure you get this foil nice and tight. There being 2 knives on there, you don't want them laying side to side. You want one on top of the other. Yeah, the crimpers are a lot cleaner. I use these a lot too for holding, holding the blade and putting it up to the grinder. That gives you some distance between your fingers and the belt, which is never a bad idea. Well, I'm glad I didn't cut that, because I thought that was going to be the same. I didn't realize I had a little offset there. Almost ruined a piece of foil. We got to get these done, make them all nice. Looking like some big things coming up with that fret, guys. We've got some bigger channels. They're wanting to check it out and show it off, so I got to get these existing orders done, so we can make more frets. Because I don't want to. A couple of the channels are big enough. The last thing I want is them to show them off. People contact me about buying them and me not having them. That would be a little bit embarrassing. We'll talk about which channels on my way home. I'm not going to announce it until it happens. All right. See what kind of shit Kyle's talking. Yes, Todd, it does. When you get into up to about When you get up around the 1900 degree range, some steels, the foil will just stick to it. But with the talcum powder, it doesn't stick. It doesn't affect the heat treat. It just burns right off. You guys didn't see that, but when I did the last batch of crew wear, several pieces came out with foil cooked to the blade, and then Sawtooth Dave had the same problem on one of his heat treats recently. He called me, so now he's using Talc too. His was really bad though, like it really cooked to it. Mine, I didn't really have to grind it off. It was more like as soon as I put it up to the belt, just the friction of the belt kind of grabbed it and ripped it off, where I couldn't do it by hand. He said he had to grind his off. Kind of like some people, they say some people used to, some people still do. But some people will put just a piece of newspaper, notebook paper, whatever. They would lay it inside the foil pack. So when it got hot enough, they would ignite that paper. And that paper burning would consume all the oxygen that was within the foil. Now there's mixed opinions about that, whether it's necessary or not. Everybody that I know that knows anything about heat treating says that it's not. So I've never bothered with it. I've never had any visible oxidization issues. That you grind the shit off anyway. But anyway. What I tell people though, because I'm not an expert, I haven't been doing this very long, you all know that. The way I look at it is it's something you've always done, and your heat treats have always came out good. Don't let anybody talk you into changing. Because if the result is what you're looking for, then keep doing it the way you've been doing it. If your result isn't satisfactory, that's a completely different thing. It's just like the blowing air on the quench plates. It's not necessary. They've proven it's not necessary. I still do it just because that's how I was taught to do it. So, you know, it's not costing me anything. It's definitely not affecting it negatively. You know, once you realize at what temperature martensite forms, I think it's up around 700-800 degrees. It doesn't have to get to room temperature. So even if your plates are a little warm, it's not going to hurt a thing. If you guys remember my first day of heat treating, I was dunking my plates in ice water to try to keep them cool. I mean, and again, didn't hurt anything. Didn't help anything either. Because that's not how metallurgy works. But I thought it was. I thought the martensites were forming all the way down to room temp. They are not. The quench happens at a rather high temp. I know this is exciting shit, guys. I was here, had a little battery life, so I figured I'd turn the camera on. I didn't know if you weirdos had somewhere to hang out or not tonight. Waiting on old Big Red. I'm rarely ever awake for Big Red, so I like to stop by when I am. He don't really cover my kind of knives. He's a pretty good community dude, though. All right. So that's done. They go stack all these up over here. We'll get the old 4.5-inch die grinder out. Shape some steel. Hopefully not much longer. I ordered my bandsaw table. I got an email saying it was being shipped. I don't know how long that typically takes. We got a couple of frets here. We're going to finish shaping up. Might get those packed up too. Oh, Shane, you ain't got no glasses on. What are you doing? There they are. Stick these in water before I forget. Put the lid on the top and put it up too. All I knock it over, it goes everywhere. hot in here. I don't know if you guys can see the Sharpie lines to see what we still got left to grind off. I gotta turn the light on. There we have a brand new fret. And another. well. Forget to move the camera when I move. Sorry, guys. Give me one of them fancy bottles everywhere. That be done. It is so much faster with this contact wheel, guys. When I work on knives now, I can't believe I was ever without it. It's just crazy. Let me go make sure the compressor's on. Also, while I'm at it, and make sure the chat's working right, because it's not moving. All right, let me go make sure the compressor's on. Well, the compressor was on. That's the second time this week me has left the compressor on. It'd be chewing my ass if it was me. He wouldn't really be chewing my ass. He'd give me a hard time about it. I know he's been here today. I didn't have these big 9-inch pliers out. And this metal was in the vise when I left. He's been here since I have. We're gonna make a chore. Do that pre-cut off the side of the platen. It severely cuts down on the amount of time I have to spend on the die grinder, which cuts down on the amount of drums I have to go through, which cuts down on the time changing the drums. I have no idea why I wasn't doing that all along. Live and learn, man. All these need are drilled. They can go in a full package. Damn progress right there, son. What that is. See if we can get to the drill. I don't know if we got anywhere to put the camera over here anymore. Now we got this here router table. Getting kind of tight quarters in here. Get my other glove. Since the drill's still plugged up. Ah, it is. That's beautiful. We're going to start with our lanyard hole. Right about there. Surprised this bit ain't quit yet, man. I drilled a bunch of holes in stainless with this thing. If it quit right now, I could not be mad at it. Drilling our weight reduction holes. No point in a knife this small being heavy. This also gives the epoxy room to flow through and bind each scale to each other, not just the steel. That one's done. We can get it on camera. I've already grabbed it. I don't see it. There it is. Some of the first frets don't have lanyard holes. I made the executive decision to add a lanyard hole. And even if you don't like lanyards, the hole's not a bad idea. For that small a knife, being 3 fingers, I think a lanyard's a great idea, especially it being a pocket fixie. You can reach down, grab your lanyard, pop that thing out of your pocket really quick. About out of cutting oil. No, I'm not. I got another can over there. I'm gonna go ahead and order some. Man, that can's lasted me several months. Maybe I'll wait. Kyle probably says I should wait. What's up, Terry? Yeah, just telling these guys before you got here, we may be getting some unexpected exposure on some channels we weren't really planning on here in the near future. So that's awesome. All right. No point in waiting around. I'll just go ahead and get these packed up. Fun fact, marker boards, the fire rating just have aluminum foil in the back. I'd have to hear the story of how you discovered that, Jake. Oh shit. I'm also curious as to why you were curious. Yeah, I'm curious as why you were curious about whether or not your marker board was fire resistant or not. I don't recall ever doing anything with a marker board that involved high heat or an open flame. Usually just you know, just some dry erase markers. Maybe an eraser. That's all I've ever used on one. Don't put it in the chat, Terry, because I won't see it. Alright, what we get done tonight? We've got heat treat full packets made for Dylan Mallory's Forest fixed blades. All 10 of Northern Dive's Thug orders and 2 frets. Pretty good night considering I wasn't planning on being here. I guess we can figure out a design for these paring knives that I'm probably going to run. I'm almost positive I'm going to run these. I just can't imagine something this thin actually not warping. In case you're wondering how thin it is exactly half the thickness of the fret blade. As you can see, it's not perfectly straight now, but it's not hardened yet. I bet it warps to shit, but my curiosity has to know. I has to know. This might be ugly as shit. I'm going to draw it on here and see what it looks like. It's going to look like a butter knife. Well, I mean, that'll make a decent paring knife. I'm going to go with it. Like I said, I don't think this is going to make it. But I've got the steel, so I might waste, I don't know, $3 or $4 heat treating it. That job was also, I learned you can get Sharpie off most hard surfaces I covered with dry erase marker and just wiping it off. Huh. That's a neat piece of information. Yeah, I guess the alcohol and the dry erase marker just makes the Sharpie marker release. Kind of makes sense, I guess. Kind of like, I've never tried it, but I've heard the best way to get super glue loose is more super glue. It's so this supermodel will look at. So damn, bitch, I hate you. Pretty damn thin, yeah. It's that fucking thin here. If it works out, it's gonna be a hell of a paring knife. Here's the thing, guys, even if it doesn't work, which it will, even if it doesn't, how do you grind something that thin already? I mean, do I just fucking shape it, heat treat it, send it to Kyle to sharpen? I mean, I'll have to grind it some. I'll just do it with a 240 at a very, very shallow angle, just to see what happens. Like I said, if I run this, I'm not going to be upset. I'm putting a whole lot of salt in it this time, guys. I don't have to repeat myself why. Find out. I ain't scared. I ain't scared because I got like. Actually, I don't think I have any money in this piece of steel. I believe they shipped it on accident. And I know what it is. I know it's 14C. And I did order 14C. But this piece came in my order. But it was not something that I asked for. Okay, let's bend in as I drill it. This is gonna be an experiment for sure. It's not hardened, so it should be pretty easy to bend. Jesus Christ. This shit is flimsy. I don't even understand why Alpha sells this. Why they even stock it. I mean, I can't imagine what else it's for. Surely somebody's made a knife out of it. We're gonna try to. Do you remember me? I still watch your videos. Braden. That sounds familiar, Braden. But I apologize, man. My memory's not very good. Let's go see how warped this is. Pretty warped. Oh, it's not flush. It's not even flat. Hang on. Had some burrs on it. Maybe that's all it was. I doubt it. All right, that's as close as I'm going to get it. I bet this image comes out of heat treat shaped like that. I bet. We'll find out. That's some stuff y'all ain't seen yet. Ooh, pretty. Get these shaped up. I got a Fred over here waiting on scales. Guys, I was playing around with some Pro Cut. Thought I'd just make I didn't put any time or thought into it. I was gonna make a little bird and trout knife. Damn if it don't look like one of them plastic knives out of the to-go box. Hey man, they ain't all winners. You know what I mean? They ain't all winners. I'd like to say every time I walked up to the grinder, I made exactly what I had in my mind. But you don't. Nobody does. If you've ever gotten good at anything, making anything, you probably threw a lot of that thing in the garbage at some point in time. Right now, trace this with on the other piece. Try to mirror. So you have two scales with the same shape. Braden, I apologize, but I didn't welcome you back. I meant to. I get really easily distracted, buddy. Like that, Kyle? I got the speed turned way down. Yeah, we got a Fred over here that Mr. Culinary pretty much told me I'd made a piece of shit and I was going to have to redo it, so he sent it back to me. That's not actually how that happened, but he was 100% right. I was not happy with this thing at all. I'm rescaling it with this. Of course, it's going to have Tiffany pins as well. That's how that's going to work. I need a pokey stabby. I need a nail or a screw or something. Bump cat. Very nice. Something. Anything of the sort. Let me go wet this. Actually, let me wipe it with alcohol first. There, go get some alcohol. Running low on alcohol. I apologize, I ain't got all this on camera, guys. This part kind of stresses me out. I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. Trying to get all this shit lined up. All right, we'll leave that there a little more. Here's Mirasalt's kitchen knife. Of course, he requested fucking ugly ass orange G10 again. How dare you say I use such language? Said it's a poor copy. Oh. I guess I'll at least get the holes drilled for them. I don't know what Mirasalt's obsession with orange is. But He wants orange, he gets orange. Nothing wrong with orange. I've had some orange knives I like, but when you've got such, I've got a lot of really nice looking scale material right now. You could have had something really pretty. Instead, just plain old orange. He's kind of a weirdo anyway. Orange wouldn't be my favorite. It's not my favorite either, Kathleen. Every time he asks for it, I kind of cringe. It's his knife. He bought a kitchen knife from me prior. To be honest, I'm really proud that he bought another one, because the one he bought wasn't great. I asked him to send me that first one back because I wanted another shot at it. His answer was, no, I'll just take another one. Now, say what you want about Muirsalt, some of his jokes, but the fact that the guy would not let me make the knife he had already purchased nicer, he gave me a whole second chance and just bought another one, knowing that the one he got wasn't even quite what he asked for. About that, what I mean, I didn't understand the full sweeping belly on a kitchen knife so that it rocks proper. I thought I had it, but I didn't. And he was kind enough to give me another shot at it. That's pretty good of him. Oh, we can shape this one. This one's got both scales on it already. We'll go ahead and get Muirsalt's other scale on, get it clamped up. Go zip it. Let me wipe it first. Finding this Gorilla Glue that you just add a little moisture to, it seems to have a really strong line, man. Maybe stronger than, I don't want to say maybe, I'm almost positive it's stronger than epoxy. The testing I've done, it's stronger than epoxy. It's odd that I started doing it about the same time Jason Grant did, so we got to have a conversation about it. I don't think he's ever going to go back either. He's enjoying it. Well, I don't want to say enjoying it. He's happy with the result, we'll put it that way. I saw that, Kyle. That's funny. So this is the matching Santoku to go with that K-tip. Just gotta pop the holes in it, get our gray pins in it. And these will be ready to get out to Mr. Culinary for some razor sharp edges. If I had to guess, probably a little bit of hand sander. Because that's what Kyle does. He's the perfectionist I need. What did I do? What did I do with the gray pen? Only got one. You guys be shocked how hard it is to find a gray G10 pen. But I did it. I found one. We'll get this bad boy epoxied in. Of course, my workstation's getting so damn cluttered up I can't do nothing. 100% my fault. It's a little easier in the wintertime because every time I brought a box in, I got to use it to start a fire. But ain't no fires going on right now. So now, push these pins back out. Go dip this and I'll stick the pins back. In case you're wondering, Kyle, these kitchen knives do sit flat on their backs, so need a turn. Usually the ones I pour are quarter inch. Yeah, quarter inch. That's a quarter-inch pin there. Why'd you redact your message, Terry? Yeah, so this kid's going to culinary school. Family knife guy's son. So we're gonna send him off with a pair of custom kitchen knives. That's the plan. I can't even begin to say how honored I am that I get to be the person to do that for Lee. Lee has been a really good friend to me. Just out of the blue, unexpected too. Didn't know me from Adam's house cat. Invited me in his home. Went out of his way to make sure I was comfortable. Just a stand-up dude, man. This is a local guy's knife. He's getting a 2-layer blue and black G10. I'm going to get it drilled. I don't know. I don't think I got enough C-clamps to clamp this one up tonight. And of course I unplugged the drill to plug in the saw, so got to fix that. I really just need another 3-plug extension cord to go over here. That would alleviate all this plugging and unplugging. But I've already invested all the money in knives I can right now. I'm at a point now where I gotta get stuff finished, or I'm gonna struggle to feed myself this month. I don't regret it, not even a little bit. I'm excited for everything that's coming up. But to say I'm broke, and my mom called today, man, it's rough having a disabled family member. You know, the government sure as hell don't give them enough to take care of themselves. And I found out today that she hasn't eaten since yesterday. So I called to find out why, because she ain't got a dime. So it's not the first time this has happened. She never asked. Keep in mind that anytime you guys buy anything from me, man, some portion of it goes to taking care of her. And words will never be able to express how much I appreciate it. Because I can't do it. I can't do it on my own. You want to hear a real son of a bitch? A real shitty story? She's being kicked out of her apartment because they want to double the rent that they know she can't pay. So they're evicting her. 75-year-old woman who can't walk from one end of this shop to the other. They're just going to put her on the street. And I don't know what to do about it, man. I don't know how to help her. I'm doing my best to get... I'm not giving y'all a sob story. I'm just telling you what's going on in my life. But I'm doing my best to get to make all the money I can to figure out where I'm going to put her, how I'm going to help take care of her. Any hoop dreams I had of bettering my financial situation are probably out the window. But that's alright, man. That woman literally worked till her fingers bled to take care of me by herself. So I owe it to her. That's just a result of these evil ass hedge fund or whatever they're called that's buying up all the real estate, jacking the prices up. But I'll make it work, man. I will make it work. I don't know what to think about that abomination. Well, if I pull that off, it's going to be a cutting some bitch. I got one more set of these red shred carbon fiber scales. To go on a local sale. I got to get that taken care of. Yeah, you think it ought to be illegal to put a woman that's lived in an apartment for, she's lived there for like 11 years. You know, pays her rent every month on time with her Social Security check. It just seems like you shouldn't be able to put somebody like that out on the street. I'll just never understand it, man. But man, I know that's how the world turns. Those people made decisions, they made investments, and they're trying to get a return on it. But it sure sucks for the people it affects negatively. That literally can do nothing about it. There's nothing she can do. We're gonna make it happen. Kind of confused. Of course, I've lost a knife. I'm always losing knives. But kitchen knife somewhere that I've got to put handles on. That's what those right there were for. Pretty sure it's 5 doors. Maybe it's over here with all these blanks I had cut out. I get to walking around and talking, lay stuff down, can't remember where I put it. Yeah, it is, Terry. You know, doesn't do any good to complain about it. Nobody's going to listen. There it is. I don't even have any clamps to clamp the scales on, but I'm going to set it over here with the scales. So just to go over some prices, guys, on these kitchen knives, whether it's the Santoku or the K-tip. K-tip's a little bigger. In 14C, with anything other than carbon fiber, they're $150. With these carbon fiber scales, they're $200. In Magna Cut, they're $250. Magna Cut with carbon fiber scales, they're $300. If you've ever been to Blade Show and priced custom-made kitchen knives, that's a fraction of what they charge. I'm not going to sit here and claim that I'm as good as those guys are, but when you're talking about $1,500, $2,000 for a knife. Yeah, Kathleen, I'm really happy with the way things are going, man. I feel like I hate to talk about this kind of stuff on the internet. I know not everybody agrees with it, but in my mind, you know, that's the Lord's way of providing so that I can help take care of her. I'm not on my own necessarily. I've got a nephew that lives with her. And bless his heart, man, he works full time and sacrificed his whole youth to take care of her. But he can only do so much, so. If that offends you, I apologize. That's just how I'm looking at it. Now I remember 1982, I was in the car with my mom. She went by, picked up her paycheck. And of course we were going straight to pay bills. After my dad left, that's the way it was. She got her check, she had to pay bills right then or something getting cut off. Yeah, we went and picked up her paycheck and went to pay bills. And I know it was 1982, guys. It was a different time. But for those of you my age or older know that even in 1982, the fact that her paycheck, I never asked how much money she made. It was none of my business. But I just happened to see her check laying there on top of the emergency brake. I looked down at it and I remember seeing it was $104. And that was the first time at 11 years old that money or finances ever even crossed my mind, man. I just remember thinking, because I kind of knew what stuff cost. And I just remember thinking, how does she do that? How do you raise two kids and on $104 a week? And my dad paid child support, but you know, they weren't big on child support. Wasn't really child support back then. You paid $25 a week, so $129 a week. What is that? $616 a month. I just don't get it, man. I don't understand how she did it. How we still had Christmases and birthdays, and I mean, we didn't have expensive Christmases or birthdays. But I remember the first time I ever realized that we were poor. It never crossed my mind that we were poor. But I remember my sister coming in one night telling me, she said, Bubba, that's all she ever called me was Bubba. I said, Bubba, I'm hungry. And that was my job to feed her at night because my mom was at work. And I remember I went in the kitchen to figure out what I was going to feed her. And I fed her the same thing I'd fed her the 2 previous nights. So 3 nights in a row she ate the same thing. And it was a ketchup sandwich on really dry loaf bread. Not appetizing loaf bread at all. Literally just ketchup on loaf bread. And she didn't complain. But I think that was the first time I realized that we were poor, was having to feed my sister that way. Now, like all good, strong women, she worked her way out of it. She busted her tail till she got a job with the state. So her financial situation, this was about the time I moved out and joined the military. She got that state job. And she worked at a convenience store too. And she worked full time at both of them. She worked 80 hours a week for probably 35 years. Because I've never worked 80 hours in a week. I know I couldn't do it. So the fact that she's still alive at 75, as bad as she's wore herself out, it just, it amazes me, man. She's an amazing woman. I didn't mean to get all sappy or emotional or whatever on y'all. I apologize for that. But been on my mind a lot today. It's really amazing that I've been able to keep my spirits up like I have. Exactly, Kyle. That denim cowboy hat, like a lot of my clothes. Luckily, my mama working in retail, you know, it was like all retail stores back then. You had that one male manager that ran the place and all them women that worked there. And they all had kids of different sizes and ages. She didn't buy that denim cowboy hat. That was some kid I probably never met. It probably belonged to him. And, you know, as I remember, you know, it wasn't rare at all for her to come home with a bag of clothes and We would try them on. The ones that were too small, we'd put back in the bag because they'd go to another family. And the ones that were a little bit too big, we'd put in the closet, thinking, you know, they'll fit us next year. You know, that was just the way things were back then, man. I don't know how many of y'all live through stuff like that. Yeah, in 1993, when I got out of the Navy, I took a job at Express Oil Change, and I brought home $204 a week. Except for 1 week out of the month, we got a commission for stuff we sold, and that check was about $240. And somehow I raised my kids on that. You know, when I left there, I was making 17 years later. I was making about, you know, a little over $1,000 a week. People ask me about that place. It's kind of getting nationwide now. I don't know if you guys have Express Oil Changes where you're at, but I will forever be grateful to that company. I didn't get rich working there, but my kids never did without. They had a happy childhood, so I'll forever be grateful to that company. But I left there and went into business for myself, opened my own shop. That's when things really changed for me. That's a bunch of sad shit, my bad. But I think I'm done for the night, guys. I don't think there's a whole lot else I can do. I could cut up some more knives, but let's face it, man, I've got so many over there right now. There's really not much point in me creating blanks that, you know, it's going to be months before I finish that. That'll kind of leave me some stuff like when I'm heat treating. I'm not just sitting here getting bored. I can be, you know, I've got some 14C over there to cut out some kitchen knives. I've got some Pro Cut over here to cut out some homesteads. So I can be doing that. I don't know if Paul Mills is still here or not. In case you're wondering what S125V looks like when it's heat treated, it actually still, I don't know if you can see it, it still has a sheen to it. You know, this was machine ground, but it still has a little bit of a sheen to it. That's pretty incredible. Yeah, Paul, that's your S125V Thug. I'll be, oddly though now, this is what's weird. S90V, which is very close, did the exact opposite. Heat treated the same day, everything's the same, and it turned jet black. But this started out as a full 1 foot stick of S90V. I was making Kyle's mama mini Santoku, and boy, it wound up mini. I made this thing so ugly and ruined it in so many ways and kept having to make it smaller. Started to throw it away, and I thought, you know what? We'll just make a mini Santoku out of it. Yeah, I think I'm kind of done for the night. Like I said, there's work I can do, but I kind of want to save some of it. I think I'm going to shut this off and do a little more cleaning, a little decluttering. It's getting pretty dirty in here. But man, it's ugly as fuck. But that's probably going to be about a 65 HRC S90V knife. That's going to be a cutting fucking machine. But it ain't near as ugly now as it was. You remember what it did look like? God almighty, I ruined that. And it was supposed to look like, this. Maybe a little smaller. Whew! I fucked that one up. It's a $100 piece of steel. So she's gonna get a mini Santoku and a mini Santoku. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna end this, do some decluttering and get all this dust out of here. And I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Appreciate y'all hanging out.